together with the YouTube people and the Instagram people. Thank you for your presences. This is so wonderful. Thank you for liking this video. And if you're watching the recording, feel free to comment below the video too. It's going to be wonderful to know what you're thinking. And please share it with people that you know are going to benefit from this, right? Because this is a big topic. It could be very easily the gravitational center of the cardinal method of life connection, which is the system I developed to help with soul healing and consciousness expansion and the joy of life. So, what we're going to talk about is diving into the soul and the fact that feeling is healing, and a lot of us don't want to feel. And the reason why we don't want to feel is that we feel powerless when we go through or experience painful emotions. But the thing is, emotions are life. So if we avoid our emotions, we're actually avoiding life. And I want to talk a little bit about the science behind this, the energetic science behind this, and the fact that your outer life is a mirror image of your inner life. So whatever goes on in your inner world is going to manifest in your outer world. So if you think beautiful thoughts, you will feel better than if you think not so great thoughts, right? And when you feel, that's the feeling aspect that we're going to dive into. You emanate something, you create a vibration, and the outer world is going to feel that vibration as a magnet. So we attract our life experiences, we create our life experiences from the vibrations that we emanate. And the vibrations are created by our feelings, and our feelings are created by our thoughts. So, what I want to say here is that we as human beings have an intellectual center that's very celebrated in our culture, right? And it should be. The intellect is really important. It gives you clarity of mind, it makes you an adult, it allows you to understand life and the world. And we have an emotional center, feelings that make us human and that allow us to feel life in all its splendor. And then we have our instincts, which are related to the physical world and to our actions. And the thing is, the intellect is very celebrated in our culture. The instincts, which are the center of power and personal power, are also celebrated, but we tend not to think emotions are important. We dismiss emotions as unimportant because that's actually a defense mechanism against feeling pain. But what I want to say here is that when we feel all our emotions, everything is in motion, everything is flowing in our lives. If we do not feel something, or if we don't go all the way into feeling, what starts happening is that we create stagnation. That emotion is not going to cease to exist, it will still be there. But if you don't want to feel it, if you numb it, if you defend yourself against it, it's still going to be in your inner world, emanating vibrations and attracting something in your outer life that's similar to that stagnant energy, what we call a stagnant soul substance in the cardinal method. So what I want to say and what I want to bring to you in this live session, right, in this video as knowledge for you and food for thought is understand that everything that emanates from you can be strength for you. So it's much better to feel your emotions and go through pain. And we tend to avoid fear, we tend to avoid sadness, we tend to avoid anger, depends on the person, right? So the non pleasant emotions, they're part of life too. And everything in life is sacred. And when we avoid those emotions, we make our lives really small because the more we feel, the more we heal in a sense that we go through the pain, we're not held hostage by it, and we experience a broader life. So once you start avoiding feeling and start numbing your emotions, your inner world is going to be clogged and creating stagnant, rigid soul substance within. And that, on a practical level, will create what we call painful patterns in your outer life, in your life experience. So some people come to me and say, oh, I have financial issues. all the time. I'm always in debt, or I have relationship issues. I never find the right partner. I want to get married. I was never married. I've never fulfilled that dream and desire because I never find the right person. I'm always with the wrong person. So that's a painful pattern, right? Or I do not have professional success. My professional life is stuck. All the outer experiences have an inner root cause. This is energetic science. I know that materialistic science doesn't validate this, but it will soon. The world is walking in towards the direction, right? In the direction of that, of validating the truth of the subtle world. And just like this crystal, for example, if I drop it, there's something called the law of gravity that will make it fall, right? The soul also follows specific principles of nature, specific laws, so to speak. So when we avoid our emotions, we create stagnant energy within. And we just shove it under the carpet. It's in the unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind are going to create experiences that are not that pleasant. And the thing about feeling is healing is that once you start owning your emotions, you actually empower yourself. We tend to convince ourselves, in this illusion that the less I feel, the more powerful I am because feeling makes me vulnerable. It's actually the opposite. Because when you don't feel, you create this, as I said, these obstacles within that will manifest as obstacles outside of you. So in the cardinal method, and I'm wearing abalone, right? The natural solid that connects us to our emotions, that encourages us to connect our emotions is abalone. It's this shell right here, in case you're curious and you're into crystals. And it does help you create emotional connection because emotions are literally like the ocean. So I keep telling people, I'm going to be repeating this possibly for the rest of my life because it's so true. There are different ways to live. You can either live with your little toe in the lake and then you get your toe out. So that's a very small life, right? You never fully experience it. And you can live diving into the ocean of life. So look at the difference. Put your little toe in the lake and then give up, and the lake's still a very small body of water, right? Or diving into the ocean of life. And to dive into the ocean of life, you need equipment, you need guidance, you need training, you need people with you. We never do this work alone. Emotional work and soul healing and anything in life, really, you need guidance, you need guides, and you need allies, you need people, you need community, right? So, why am I saying all this? Because the moment I decided to dive into my soul, and believe me, I avoided my emotions and I avoided seeing the truth for so long in my lifetime. And when I decided it was too much, I could not bear the pattern, the painful patterns of relationships, the painful patterns in other areas of my life. That's when I found the key to start shifting and to create change in my life with self transformation. The more I transformed myself and purified my emotions, faced my pain, the more my life expanded, the more I grew as a human being, the more my experiences became richer, and the more I found solutions to my problems and stopped repeating the vicious circles of pain and the patterns that I went through. So, listen, there is something that you can do to address specific types of pain that allow you to see your unconscious mind and your unconscious world. And that, in my experience, was family constellations. And the cardinal method of life connection, the system I developed, is part of it. It's one of the pillars. Family constellations are one of the pillars of the cardinal method for this very reason, because there are layers of a consciousness, of our consciousness, that are not just our individual experience. They are also our family's tendencies, our family patterns. The ancestors in our families may have gone through pain and avoided it, and that created blockages in their soul substance. And we inherit that in our DNA. The cells of our bodies are aware of every story that our ancestors went through. They are aware of every emotion that our ancestors felt. And what I love about indigenous wisdom, and what I'm going to say here is part of indigenous wisdom, Native Americans in North America specifically, they say that feeling is healing, and that the more you face your emotions, the more your soul grows and the stronger you are. And then you will not leave a legacy of pain to your descendants. So when you work with ancestral healing, when you dive into your soul, and when you dive into the family soul, which is what family constellations will do, you access specific contents and blockages, right? That will create obstacles in your outer life unless you address them. And those obstacles start dissolving and becoming strength for you. So when you start working on your inner world and facing your emotions, feeling is literally healing, because we feel our own emotions and we often don't realize that we are also feeling the emotions of our ancestors unconsciously. And you start expanding your consciousness and understanding that maybe your life experience could be a lot broader if you were not entangled in an ancestral pain, for example, right? So this is a lot to think about, but it does start to expand your conscious mind, and you start making wiser choices the more you empower yourself by feeling the reality of your emotions. And this indigenous wisdom also teaches us that the truth sets you free. So, what am I really feeling? We often mask our feelings and emotions, right? Because we want to please someone, we don't want someone to feel bad about something, or we are ashamed of the reality of our emotions, of what we really feel. So we play a role to please society, to please our parents, or our spouses, our kids, whatever it is. But when you start living from the truth, you start owning your emotions deeply, you become a stronger human being. It seems weird because you feel vulnerable to the painful emotions, but the only way out of pain is through pain. It's never as horrible as we tend to think. A lot of our suffering comes from amplification. And a lot of our fears also come from amplifying things that are, in the end, not that bad. And we can really go through the pain. We're much stronger than we think with the right tools, with the right guidance, with the right guides and allies, as I said, and the specific roadmaps, right? You really can start expanding your life. So again, I'm going to use this image. If you put your toe in the lake, you will live possibly 3% of your life potential. When you dive into the ocean, you can go to 100. And this is really literally why I decided to change careers. I was an academic, I was a university professor for 15 years of my life. And my emotional life was going downhill, and I was in such turmoil in other areas. So the moment I said, I need to face my pain, I need to heal my soul, constellations came to me, and I decided to dive in. And it was so powerful. It just was so torrential that I decided to change careers and become a constellations facilitator. And this is the power of feeling. It changes your life. When I became a constellations facilitator, everything in my life shifted and clicked in place. The painful patterns in my romantic life were gone. The painful patterns in my finances were gone. Everything starts to work for you because you decided to own your power of feeling. That was my experience. And for years, this has been my experience in witnessing people with cardinal method constellations. So the cardinal method brings a lot of soul healing in a lighter but yet deeper way if you decide to go through your own strength too, because your emotions are your life and your strength, right? So the less we avoid anger, sadness, fear, the stronger we are. Emotional courage. We tend to pride ourselves with physical courage, but emotional courage is so, so powerful. They're equally powerful. And I really want to encourage you to dive in. So that's why we're going to have Cardinal Method Constellations Facilitator Week. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to be together for 2 days for me to explain to you how it all works. And then on the third day, we're going to have a free group constellation for everyone who signs up. It's going to be on Zoom for exclusively for the people who sign up for Cardinal Method Week. So you can go to our website and sign up there. The link is already in our bio. And you can send us a message, DM on Instagram. There is a WhatsApp icon in our website that you can go to and ask any questions you want. You can send an email to us. And it's going to be a powerful dive into your soul. Because when you feel all your emotions, you know your truth and you decide to empower yourself. And maybe if you're a facilitator, if you're already in the soul healing field, you always expand your practice and become way more competent when you learn new tools and new things, right? With different types of guidance. So it expands on every level. And the thing is, again, ask yourself, why are you here? Why are you on this planet? Why were you born? Why do you think that is? Every human being was born for two reasons. There are different paths. Everyone has a very specific life path and sacred path to get to these two goals. But there are two reasons why we were born. One, to expand consciousness. We were not born to make our lives small. And we make our lives small when we don't feel our emotions, when we don't own our emotions and own our power, when we don't own our truth. So one of the reasons why you were born is to expand your consciousness. Another reason is to be happy. So if something in your life is not going that well, if you're unhappy on some area or maybe in general, that's not in alignment with what nature intended. And it's not in alignment with what your higher self intended. And we keep avoiding a lot of things in life that actually empower us, right? A lot of us are very scared of our own power. So feeling your emotions is one step in the direction of becoming who you were born to be. And it's also a key factor to release your outer obstacles. Nothing is just physical. Nothing is just the outer world experience. Everything has a root cause in your energy, in your consciousness, on the subtle realm. And once you start going to the root causes, you start changing your life. And often, the more you work on yourself, the more you feel your emotions, the more you heal them, the more the outer world responds accordingly. This is a very proportional universe. Whatever is going on in your outer life is a mirror image of your inner world. So when you dive in and you start purifying your inner world, facing your emotions, shedding light in the blind spots, and dissolving your inner obstacles, your life starts to expand and expand and expand. So I don't want people to live putting their little toe in the lake. I want people to dive into the ocean of life. I don't want you to live a small life in 3% of reality. You can live 100% and you keep expanding and you keep growing. And that's what the Cardinal Method brings to you. So I want to thank you for liking this video and for sharing it too. Thank you everybody for your presences here. We're going to have Cardinal Method Week. As I said, it's going to be Cardinal Method Constellations Facilitator Week, which is going to be so, so powerful. And just being there, just signing up for it is going to start bringing shifts and transformation to your life. It always happens in all in our trajectory with the Cardinal Method. Every time this happens, when we hold Cardinal Method Week, and this is going to be the first time it's going to be Cardinal Method Constellations Facilitator Week, things start shifting and expanding. So it's going to be really wonderful to have you there. If you're not familiar with abalone energy and the Cardinal Method, it's in one of our 108 meditations. Our website has all the information if you want to join the Cardinal Method meditations, but especially knowing that feeling is healing, that emotional connection, it empowers you, helps you dissolve your blockages and expand your life. Sign up for Cardinal Method Constellations Facilitator Week. If you feel the calling, especially if you're already on the soul healing field, in the energy healing field, this is going to be a huge expansion in your professional life. And if you've always contemplated the idea of being a facilitator, of diving into family constellations and enterprises constellations, right? Business constellations, this is going to be powerful. Group constellations are a soul calling. Maybe you were born to be a facilitator. I had no idea that was part of my mission in life. But the moment I embraced it, First, I saw the shifts that constellations made in my life just receiving them. But the huge shift happened when I signed up to become a facilitator. So maybe this is your calling too. And if you're watching this, I'm sure it is. If it's touching your heart, it is your soul calling. Your higher self is nudging you, right? So the link to sign up for Cardinal Method Constellation Facilitator Week is on Instagram. The link's in the bio. And on YouTube, everyone here, you guys can go to our website, paularanova.com, and sign up there. And if you have any questions, you can send us a message, you can send us an email. We'll be more than happy to answer. So thank you everybody for your beautiful presences here. It's been wonderful. Don't forget to share this with people and to encourage them to sign up to for Cardinal Method Constellations Facilitator Week, but also to our YouTube channel and to our Instagram, and to like our Instagram profile, because you'll be helping a lot of people expand their consciousness and make the world a much better place. So we're here to create heaven on earth, right? It is possible. And it starts with self-transformation. So when we work on ourselves, we ripple effect, we become pillars of light. People around us start feeling the good vibrations and changing. And if you do this actively as part of your professional life, it is even more powerful. So thank you so much for your beautiful presences here, and we'll be connected very, very soon. Bye-bye.